Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of the PCP, otherwise known as the Pulse Collective podcast. I'm your host, Shahrukh Ansari. The PCP is where we feature top business leaders and entrepreneurs from every single aspect of the business space to share their experiences, their journeys, and any valuable tidbits for our audience. For those of you watching or listening audibly, we are Pulse Marketing Collective. We partner with businesses all across the country to help streamline their revenue, unleash their business potential, all done through AI-powered systems. If you're looking for proven ways to help generate more leads, boost your customer retention, and overall just elevate your customer experience, you're here in the right place. Today, I want to get this completely out of the way and just introduce our guest. Very, very excited to be joined by Oksana Budz. She's the co-founder and chief business development officer over at IntelSwift. Oksana has actually built her career at the intersection of technology, business strategy, and customer experience. And with IntelSwift, she's now helping companies modernize their support through AI-driven automation that helps service personal. It makes it completely personal, scalable, and also just human-centered. Oksana, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for such great intro. I'm really happy to be here today.
Awesome. We're really excited to have you on. So can you kick us off by, just sharing a little bit about your background and also IntelSwift? What is it all about?
IntelSwift, it's an agentic AI for scalable support teams. It's a modern omni-channel help desk with conversational and role-based AI agents for chat, voice, and email. With IntelSwift, we are trying to build the whole ecosystem for support teams for different industries, but first of all, what we see right now, the biggest demand is starting in mid market to the enterprise level customers, because they see this huge demand in AI automations for customer support. And we have created a true omni-channel platform with let's say the pool of different features from, as I said before, conversational AI agent that talk to your and clients, with Copilot that helps actually support team reps to handle questions and queries faster, to role-based AI agent that act like your teammates, and knowledge base, automations, and so much more. So that's how we cover the support and help businesses to make their customer support better, faster, more personalized. And as I always say that support divisions in businesses, there's often overrated, but that's a core, because if you have a great customer support, people gonna love you, people gonna stay with you. So overall, your revenue gonna just grow.
I think one thing that's very cool about what you guys are doing is that, especially with this emergence of AI, a lot of people are incorporating AI into their workflows for exactly what you're doing. They want to start having more client-facing time, because you can't automate personal touch. And a lot of things that you guys are doing is you're streamlining everything, but you're basically making it easier to have high class customer service, but also maintaining that personal touch as well. So you have both sides of the equation.
Yes, absolutely. That's actually is one of our core pillars around which we are building IntelSwift. It's human-centered. I never say that we're going to substitute people with AI agents. That's never going to happen, because people should stay in the loop. Great customer support always going to have this personal touch. And what we are doing, we are trying to reduce all the routine tasks, right? To give all routine tasks, to give this boring stuff to AI agents, Copilot, right? And just then for a customer support reps to focus on issues that really matters, on complex issues. There's a first level of support that can be automated super easily, right? With AI, with agents. And there's a second level of support, or some companies even have the third level of support. So these levels, it's more complex, and they definitely require the personal touch. Or, for example, you have your clients, like VIP clients, that always require personal touch. So that's how we built IntelSwift, around humans, not substituting them. It's one of our core values.
And I think the biggest resistance for a lot of companies to actually accept that AI is going to be the future is that they're scared of the displacement of jobs. And I think there's a true reality of like a sweet spot in the middle where there's actual opportunities while you're incorporating these tools to make everything easier. I know I brought up in our first conversation prior when we were talking, but a lot of companies will automate, for example, their HR space, they'll automate their customer service space. But so for example, when I was previously a consultant at IBM, they essentially got rid of our entire HR department and they automated it with an HR chatbot where all of the employees would directly communicate with this chatbot. But after they actually implemented it, they realized we need to hire 2 times as many people just to help manage some of the other things. So it actually, when you look at the net, there was a surplus of jobs that it produced. But on the back end, it actually helped the business as well, just streamline some of the redundant activities that take place. So I'm
Yes.
really interested from your perspective. First, let's just get into your role. Like, what is your role over at Intel Swift, your day to day? What is your day to day life?
Wow, that's a very interesting question because, as I always say, as a co-founder of a tech startup, we're still young. We're just 2 years overall from the idea to the platform and 6 months from our general access. So the team is still relatively, still small, around 10 people, with plus some agencies, but it's always really, really changing. But we have 10 full-time employees, and me as a co-founder, I believe that I have a lot of, different roles. So, I lead product, I lead business development. So my day-to-day activities, I always talk to clients from the sales perspective, from customer development perspective. So my day-to-day activities look like that, always divided in few different parts, and also I have team to manage to understand that everything goes smoothly by plan, which is also requires a good part of my daily routine, my attention. So that's it. My daily routine looks like talking to clients, talking to leads, then craft some new strategies, some go-to-market strategies, think about what other acquisition channels we might test, right? Then think about outreach to investors, or I'm always looking for new opportunities in terms of investments, in terms of grants. So yeah, my routine is always overwhelming. It's quite a journey right now, but I love it because every day as a co-founder, every day I learn new stuff. It's like it will never be like, okay, now I'm like so experienced in everything. No, I think it will never happen because every day I learn something new in different, let's say, parts of my responsibilities, and it's like a never-ending journey. But that's also such a great path of my self-development and the expertise that I'm gaining.
I think entrepreneurship is such a beautiful journey. Like,
Yeah, and
all of us have been through it.
I am not talking about accounting, or let's say legal part, because it's
It's a
something that
whole
is,
nother game.
yeah,
No,
absolutely.
I think you hit it. Like, I think a lot of people, I definitely know when I first started a year and a half ago to now, I was wearing every hat. It could be marketing, it could be answering the leads, it could be getting on sales calls, it could be doing our video editing for our content creation, our
Yeah.
photography for our content, our social media management, everything A to Z. At that time, I remember it was long days, but for the average person, I think you're promised a dream with entrepreneurship, and you see, if you go on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, and you'll see all these people are getting rich at 19, have built $1 million, multi-million dollar businesses. And by all means, it's definitely possible. But I think it doesn't give the full context on what it really took, the sleepless nights to get to that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm curious on your perspective first. Like, were you always a business owner, or what did you do prior to actually founding Intel Swift?
Well, before Intel Swift, I always been in business development in this part of business, a little bit as well of marketing, but mainly business development. And when, let's say, when I finished my master degree, I started as a business development intern. Then I was interested in marketing. So that's two, let's say, niche that I was always, developing on that. But then after probably 3 years of working, I realized that I kind of have this entrepreneurial spirit. But Intel Swift is not my first business that I started. Before Intel Swift, I was running with the co-founder of Intel Swift, by the way, as well. We were running a school, an online education for for web development. So the people who wanted to switch to the web development, so this kind of school. So we're like having these courses, front end, back end developers, full stack developers, and because of this business, we realized how many problems we have in customer support. I mean, these routine tasks that answer the same questions over and over again. And it is about answering to leads. It's about answering to your customers. In our case, that it was students. So we were thinking, and the co-founder, he is in tech. So he is right now, he has more than 14 years in the tech industry, working for such giants like Apple, Cisco, Zoom. So he, with the course, he wanted to, to channel to share his knowledge. But then we realized that we won't facing these challenges in customer support, customer communication. We realized that we need to automate it somehow. And we came up with the chatbot idea, and that was just after the GPT boom. I just remember, and okay, so then there's AI that can actually make this chatbot smart. Then it's step by step, we will elaborate in this idea. And I cannot say that from the start of this idea, let's create a platform for people to create these AI chatbots to where we are right now. It wasn't like this. It was linear. It was like this.
Yeah.
We made pivots. We made mistakes, of course. We had 2 acceleration programs already. So a lot of stuff that we learned. But again, why I think that why we can succeed, right, with IntelliSwift, because we faced these problems before. And we know that there's tons of businesses outside that gonna face the same problem, or they are facing right now. And they need a solution like IntelliSwift, the solution that we built, because they will not build these AI agents from scratch.
Right.
Whole ton of work.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think it's really interesting because a lot of entrepreneurs follow a similar type of journey, because at some point it clicks in your mind that, there is a gap in the marketplace. And I think the biggest important thing is you actually went through the process of, first you did one business, you found out, okay, there's a big gap here. Then based upon that information and that data, you ended up starting your second business, which is what you're doing now. And I think a lot of people actually bring to market a solution sometimes. So it could be a SaaS company, it could be a service provider. You're coming with a solution already ready-made without really knowing what your ideal customer has a problem with. So the most important thing, I actually just got off with somebody right now, and we had a conversation just around the fact that once you talk to your ideal client, they will tell you the problems they are facing. And that's the most important. You can put all the money into your R&D of your product, but once you find out and your market tells you what you need, you take that information, you reinvest it into your product, and then you bring it to market. And I know you followed a similar type of mindset to that. So how did you actually incorporate that when you were launching IntelliSwift as well?
So at the beginning, I think we made one mistake, and I understand why, because since we faced the idea as these problems with customer support, we realized, okay, so then and back the time we were a small business. It wasn't like a huge business, but mid-sized business, right? So we were like, okay, so if we face this problem, and that was online education, right? We were in online education industry, then all the online education schools are facing the same problem. And that was our assumption. So we started to build in based on, on our, let's say, our problem, our experience solo. But then when we started to talk to online education, other businesses like we were before, realized that they are not so they're not ready, because it's also about the readiness, right? For the for businesses, for business owners or decision makers, that's the readiness to adopt a new technology. And that's a big step. So then we realized, whoa, so we need to explain why they need to adopt AI solution, why they need to employ, right, to hire our solution to help them. And we realized that, okay, so maybe that's not the right path. So after that, we switched to different ICPs, and we switched from SMBs to mid-market to enterprise level companies, because when we started to do the cost dev interviews with these type of companies, we realized that, okay, here's the huge demand. And once we did it, once we switched it, once we actually, and for huge companies, we added one more, let's say, puzzle into our solution. And I'm talking about voice AI agents. Now we see such a huge demand. A lot of companies are looking for this kind of solutions. And because we have already this omni-channel platform with chat, email, and voice, it's like, wow, that's what we're looking for. So talking to your clients, and I think that's kind of advice that I would tell myself, when I started in Swift from day one, whenever you have the idea, go and validate it with someone that you think might need your solution. Because yes, that's absolutely right, that whenever you're talking to your client, they're going to tell you what they need. They're going to tell you what they also have, the ideas. Because right now, when we're talking to clients, they're like, do you consider to make this feature? And then do you consider to make that? I'm like, wow, that's actually a cool idea.
That's a good
So
shout
yeah,
out.
I was like, okay, I gotta write it down for a bit. So yeah, talking to your clients is not just about your ICP, but when you are looking for new ICPs, right? New industries, doing the cast dev interviews, that's a core, that's essential.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think like for any entrepreneur, it's really, really important. First, find out the market that you're serving. And once you find out the market that you're serving, find out what those gaps are and really just come forward. I think the best advice that I received when I was first starting our consulting practice is, you can go on Instagram and Facebook and there's thousands of people posting ads about, we'll help you get leads for your business. We'll help run your ads for Facebook. We'll do this, we'll do that. But the gap that we were seeing was it was the same offer across every industry and every niche. And it doesn't work like that. Like you can't offer, for example, a SaaS company the same strategy as a dentist clinic. So it's completely
Absolutely.
different. So I think when we started putting together our team and we got people specializing across different spaces. So for myself, I came from a SaaS background, but we have people in like for example, the med spa space. We have people in that worked at dental clinics before, chiropractors in the wellness space, and like even past gym owners, like across different industries. It gave us the expertise to build different strategies across whatever industry you're in. So I kind of want to go into a conversation that's near and dear to my heart, which is sales and marketing. I think they're the two biggest pillars of any successful business, no matter what it is. And I think with AI, it's changing drastically. People don't even realize how fast sales and marketing is changing because every person that's receiving marketing emails, getting phone calls, or somebody that's getting a cold call, their attitudes are changing. So I'm curious, what are the channels that you're using right now to do your own marketing? What are you seeing is working? What are you seeing is not working? And how are you guys managing to fix that?
That's a great question. I think at this point, we have tried a bunch of different either marketing or sales channels, let's say lead gen channels. And I can definitely say what's working, what's not working for us. Let's say we tried Google Ads and not working for us because you need to have already a good brand awareness and you need to have a pretty solid budget for that. So we realized that Google Ads or even Meta Ads is different, but still it's about the ads part. It's not working for us because we are not in that type of business, not in that industry. Even for some SaaS companies, but SaaS companies that are, let's say, B2C, that's a great acquisition channels. But for B2B, and especially, again, B2B SMBs or B2B mid-market and huge companies, like your decision makers are not there, or they will just, they won't see you in that ad. So what's working for us, definitely offline conferences, offline events. So again, any conference, any different gatherings, but this is specific ones. That's what is working for us, because on these type of conferences, like see a customer experience, customer support conference, people are coming exactly to look for a new what's new in the industry, and the audience is our audience. That's either mid-market, like head of customer support, like this type of our personas. And we see that once we are there, it's always a lead generation. It's a great lead generation for us. Another, if we're going to talk, so that's offline, it's not digital, right? But if we're going to talk about digital, what is working for us right now, it's webinars, like a content, but webinars. And I believe that it's working because it's again about let's say personal touch, because they see us during the webinar when we give this information for free, and we are not forcing anyone, right, to use IntelliSpeed right away. We're just giving information and useful information. It's not like talking about AI in general. We always pick a topic that that actually has this pain for
Right.
our personas. And we always try to do the collaborations with experts in our industry. It's kind of a hack, right, to use their audience to bring even more in our webinar and to, let's say, spread the news about it. So webinars works as well because during the webinar, we can establish the trust. And then we see also that after webinars, we always have a demo booked, or even or even not just right away. And again, it's about this type of companies. They are not doing these really fast decisions. Let's say it might take even 2-3 months before they saw us and then they came to us. So I can say, so what else we are trying?
I
The
just have a
classic
question
one.
on the webinar piece though, because I find it interesting. I actually never really found a lot of success with that avenue until I switched. So webinars actually work. I'm curious, like, how are you getting people to actually sign up for these webinars? Like, do you send emails? Do you call people? Like, how are you doing that?
Yeah, like for webinars, we are doing the ads. Let's say, what actually works for us, LinkedIn ads, because then you can pick your exact personas, and you understand that these ads are going to be seen by someone in your niche, right, in customer support niche. So at least you have a high chance that they're going to be interested in this topic. And so that's one thing. Again, for personal network, right? When you post on LinkedIn and say, hey, we're going to host the webinar, like I'm going to be a speaker, join us. Well, I'm not a huge, let's say, I don't have a huge audience on LinkedIn. I think this social selling is still one of the channels that I need to
Like
start
to
and work on
leverage.
it. Yes, because right now I feel like this LinkedIn and this social selling, it might be a huge thing because I see a lot of successful cases. And talking again about webinars, another thing, as I mentioned before, we are doing collaborations with experts who already have their audience. They, share this with their audience, so then we can combine their audience and some totally brand new one from advertisement.
I think it's very, very cool because on the marketing side and sales side, from 2020, even if I just think back to COVID till now, my strategy completely changed. And I think most people, our strategies changed because everything is digital now. And a lot of, for example, like any SaaS clients that we have, the main focus is always on like, how do we make any outreach strategy scalable? Like whatever we're doing has to be reliable and scalable. So those are the two things we usually focus on. And you said something I completely agree with. B2B, especially enterprise type of clients, they're not going to go on their Instagram at the end of the night and they're looking at something. They're not going to be finding a potential partner on Instagram. Like you need to find people where they're going to be. If you're reaching out to B2C, like you said, the average person might see an ad, they'll click
Yeah.
on it and they'll go through the funnel and they'll do that. I've noticed the same thing. So for us, for most B2B acquisitions, we actually don't suggest meta ads ever. It's typically very high return on ad spend, and your cost per click and everything is usually very high. I
Yeah.
think the main benefit if you're doing that, so there's a couple of channels you can do: cold calling, you can do paid ads, you can do like SEO for your website, you do natural organic content creation, or you do paid email campaigns. We went through all 5 channels, and the one thing that we saw worked more reliably than not is very controversial. It's actually when paid email campaigns are done well, they typically yield the best results for B2B compared to for B2C. By far, the best results are paid ads. So
But
yeah,
sorry for interrupting, but I
yeah,
believe that it's always working with other channels. Let's say you just mentioned search engine optimization, right? And so it's always about content creation. So probably when someone sees the paid ad, that clicks goes right to the website, like search through the website. If this person see the good content, then it might,
Yep.
it gonna
Yeah.
hook this person. So it's always, I think, whenever we are talking about this kind of channels, like paid ones, right? When you like you are shown to this particular person, it's never just this kind of channel. It always should be something on top of that that's gonna,
Yes.
that's gonna actually make this person to stop and
Yep.
consider you
There's
as a
like
business.
it's a funny stat. I think it's like 5 seconds is the average attention span now in 2025. So if you post an ad and you don't get somebody's attention within the first 4 or 5 seconds, they're scrolling
Yeah,
past
that's
you
crazy.
100%. And it's only getting worse. So I think just a couple years ago, like I think around 2020, it was about 7 to 8 seconds. So we're consistently getting worse and worse as a
Yeah, and with
society.
AI, when this like creative banners
Forget about it.
generate in seconds, and then oh my god.
Yeah, forget about it. It's gonna get really interesting. No, I think there's definitely unique ways to do it. I think the most important thing when it comes to marketing is you need to have it's not just a matter of, okay, I'm gonna run ads. I need to find out, okay, if I'm running ads, is somebody clicking on it? Okay, now that that person's clicked on it, where are they falling off? Are they booking an appointment with us or are they falling off on my form that I've set up? Because if you don't have that data, you don't know if you need to pay more on ads or you need to fix your form. Once they sign that form and they book a meeting, are they advancing to another meeting? If you don't know that, you might need to fix your sales process and like have a
Yeah, you need
it's
to have
end
this
to
funnel.
end. You need that data. And I think a lot of people don't have visibility on which part of their process is the bottleneck that's causing a lot of that like drop off. So I'm curious from your whether it's personally something that IntelSwift's already doing, how do you actually analyze the data from a lot of these marketing outreach efforts or your sales team? Like how are you analyzing that?
Well, whenever we are launching a campaign, we are trying to set the KPIs, right? The outcomes, what's the goal, and then once everything is set up and running, and it depends on the channel, right? Because some channels, like let's say you're gonna set KPIs for SEO, but you're gonna see that the first results in 3 months. But when it comes to the like what is great with the ads, that you can see results after 1, 2, 3 days, and then even if it's a fail one, then you just stop it and don't waste any more budget. But it's kind of hard to answer because every single channel is different. So then the KPIs are different, and this iteration part is also different. But at least to have a clear understanding of what the channel is from the step one to your goal, it's really important. Understand the whole funnel, how the whole what's going to be the journey for your clients, and then actually, like, let's say for webinars, right? It's already set. Like, you will not say that, okay, we are not doing the webinar because we have, like, I don't know, 3 registration. But then whenever it's like, the cycle is closed, to do the retrospective at least. If you cannot, let's say, say stop, it's not working, but do the retrospective, understand, let's say, okay, if the webinar was a failure, right? Or if we had, let's say, I don't know, few registrations, few people attending, then why, right? So where was the problem? Was it the problem because topic wasn't interesting, or it's like super generic, everyone is talking about that? Or maybe we did the ads were, the ad campaign was not successfully set up or something like that. Maybe another persona, we should pick another persona, something like that. So it's, again, whenever you have one, let's say with every single channel, you have different, at least I have different approach how to analyze it, because every funnel is different.
No, I think that's very true. I think a lot of people, especially who are coming into this space, marketing and sales, we have the most important part is once you have a process, you need to always change it. I think my sales cycle changes every month. We don't have the same process all the time. So it's constantly evolving. But no, I think you hit the nail on the head. I do want to step back because we're actually coming towards the end of our time here, but I do want to step back and just kind of talk a little bit about your not your story, but for say there's a 20-year-old Oksana coming into the space out of college, university, and they're coming into this new world where AI has taken over and there's so much competition. You're seeing all these things. What is one piece of advice, first from a mental standpoint, to make sure you're not just consuming all this information and you're overwhelmed by it? What advice would you give yourself first mentally? And then what's the best piece of advice you would give yourself to set yourself up for the most success or even get you to the point you're at today?
Well, if we're gonna talk about first part, I think, yeah, you're absolutely right that with this ton of information everywhere, it might be really overwhelming, and when you're so overwhelmed, then you can burn out so fast. So I think the advice is to stop for a moment and to think what really matters for you, what you let's say what area is interesting for you. Because even in AI right now, if let's say if you want to be an AI expert, but there's AI video, AI photo, AI automations, AI support, sales. Oh my God! Like, and sales, there's SDR, there's outbound, inbound, so many things. So I think you need to understand what actually drives you, right? What you like, and then at least if you're gonna jump, deep dive into this topic, it really gonna be interesting for you. So then you will, the process, you will never say that you're doing some boring stuff that you don't like. So you're gonna do the stuff that you like. And I think that's the most important part, because if you're gonna work on something that is like definitely not your area of interested, something that's gonna, I don't know, make you feel bad, I don't know, then you're gonna burn out so fast. So you really need to, let's say, the advice, and especially if you say for 20 years old, Oksana, to think what really drives me in terms of a business perspective, what I really like, what I'm curious about, and what gonna bring me, this joy.
Right. No, it's very important. Like I think for any young entrepreneur coming in, the best thing is that you need to look at the information that you're getting on social media and understand it's never that easy. There will be
Yes,
a lot
exactly.
of
The
obstacles.
successful success, it's
Yeah.
like not that easy. Yeah. And in terms of entrepreneurship, I think another advice, it's don't build up on assumptions, because assumptions might just, I don't know, it's better to fail fast. So let's say if you have some crazy idea or you have idea, first thing that you need to do, it's at least some super fast competitor research. And here are like, let's say two parts. First, if there's no competition, maybe there's no demand. And then if the competition is high, then you also need to understand, like talk to clients if, let's say, what the idea you came up is different and actually catches the attention of your potential clients. So talking to clients, it's really super important at the very beginning of any venture. Honestly, I failed in that at the beginning and I learned it the hard way. But now, if whenever, like one day I'm gonna come up with a new idea, I will do that this
Yeah,
in
no.
this order. Yeah.
I
First of
come
all, I will go and talk and do the custom interviews.
Yeah, once you talk, because your client, your ICP will tell you what they want. It's the best piece of advice, honestly. I think instead of just worrying about, I'm gonna build this shiny new iPhone and I'm gonna make this and sell this to everybody on the market. Find out what they want. What if they don't want an iPhone? What if they want like a new something else? And then based upon that information, you build a solution to help them. And I think the best piece of advice is literally just that. Go out there, talk to people, figure out what the problems in the market are. And we take that information, we leverage that. And honestly, I'm looking at your journey and where you are today and how much you've been able to just constantly, through all the uncertainty, you started one business, you learned from that, and now you started another business. And who knows, 10 years from now, you might be doing something completely different. Nobody
Yeah,
knows.
exactly. Yeah,
So
nobody knows.
it's one of those things. I want to wrap up now and just kind of end off with Oksana. Where can everybody find you? Any social media pages you have, a website? Where can everybody find you on?
Sure. So Oksana Budz, exactly as you see in the screen. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram, but it's more like a personal page. The where I post my cat and my baby. But In terms of my business activities, that's LinkedIn and also a website, intelswift.com, exactly like that, where you can look more about our solution. And if anyone is interested to reach out to me in LinkedIn, I'm always open.
Dana, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It was really a great conversation. Hopefully it's going to be useful for someone out there.
Awesome. Thanks so much.